But anyway, I also love, obviously, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Please teach me about Hansel and Gretel. That's my favorite. It's obviously one of the most memorable fairy tales.
Yeah. I mean, what is it that you're wondering about Hansel and Gretel? Like, is there something that you find ambiguous that you're not sure about?
Well, I just know that you've thought about this way longer than me and way deeper than me, and that you've probably got insights into this that are going to shatter my knucklehead skull. But I mean, what a wild story. First of all, what's interesting is like, I don't know, the thing I think is like, who's the witch here? Because you've got this stepmother who talks her idiot husband into starving their children to death because they don't have enough food for all of them. And he's like, all right.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So a good way to understand it is to understand the mother and the witch as either the same figure or as opposite figures. Right. And so you could say the stepmother in this case is the figure that wants to, let's say, reject or push away the children, in order to have her husband. So, or to have the man. It doesn't have to be her husband. So the witch in Snow White, that's what she does, right? She basically sees the children as a competition for what she wants. And so she wants to get rid of Snow White because she's a competition for her as the most beautiful in the world, and so she gets rid of her. And then you have the other version. You could say it's the witch in Rapunzel is a good example, where the witch in Rapunzel, she wants to like protect and like she's the devouring mother character, right? She wants to kind of keep the children and give her everything she wants as long as she doesn't leave, And so the in the story of Hansel and Gretel, those two figures play on each other. So you have the stepmother that wants the kids to basically die in the woods. That's the witch in Snow White, she sends them out into the woods to die. And then you have the Rapunzel witch, you could say the witch in the house, which has a candy house. And it's like, you can have all the candy you want. You can eat anything you want. You can have everything you want as long as you don't leave, as long as you stay with me and I keep you safe, And ultimately what she's doing is she's going to eat the children, right? That's the devouring mother. It's the most classic example of that character. But you can see how these tropes, they play out in different fairy tales in different ways. But in Hansel and Gretel, it's beautiful because you have both at the same time. Yeah.
So I guess my question is, was there a point to the husband freely giving up his children? Because obviously they come back to him and he embraces them.
That's
and they
a weird part
happily
of the
ever
story.
after.
Yeah, that one's.
And so
rough.
I guess I'm wondering, like, did they not think it through when they put this together, or is there something there that I don't understand? It's probably that one.
No, I think that the way that it's presented in the story is that it's just presented that it's the woman who's an obstacle in the story, and so if the obstacle is removed, then there's a restoration to the father. But it obviously, in psychological terms, doesn't make much sense.
Okay.
You have to understand it on a
different level.
You have to understand it more on the level of that in this relationship, it's the mother that it's an obstacle for the children to have a proper relationship with the father. And once that goes away, then the children can have the proper relationship. But it's like you said, emotionally, it doesn't make much sense. But it makes sense structurally. Like if you understand the story as a structure and you understand how those two aspects of the feminine are two excesses that can prevent a normal family from being together.